Hey guys! We thought we'd do something a little bit different, so we're going to do a trip report because we just went to Disney.
Yes!
So we thought we would come to you and give you guys a rundown of how Disney is post-COVID and talk about the different things that are going on, what's the same, and what we thought overall about the trip. What was your overall impression of being in Disney for the first time and knowing what was going to happen? Now that you're back, is the magic still there?
I think the magic is definitely still there. I know I've seen people talk like online and on the boards. Some people say it didn't feel like Disney, the magic isn't there, but I think it's all about you and your attitude going into it, and I was so happy to be back there. It completely felt like Disney. Masks didn't feel like anything to me. Maybe because I'm just always so used to wearing a mask anyway, but it completely felt like Disney. It completely felt magical. I loved it, and I think it's a great time to go.
Yeah, I definitely think that number one, it has to do with where you're coming from. So we're both in New York City, and I feel like there are a lot of mandates here and a lot of just wear your mask all the time and make sure that you're staying away from people and things like that. So maybe the people on the boards and the people that are saying, oh, it doesn't really seem like it, they're coming from a place where there's no restrictions and they are kind of living, pre-COVID, and that might be a bit of a difference. But I also think that, if you're gonna go in there and compare spot by spot, is it different? Yes, obviously it's different. But I definitely feel like you're walking into the bubble. I definitely feel like the workers are all still very nice and, bubbly, and they're not acting like anything is different. And I really just thought it was great. I had such a great time.
I felt like, and I know it's been open a while at this point, it opened in July, but I still feel like the cast members were genuinely happy to see us, that we're there, and they were very welcoming.
Definitely, yeah. I really thought that the magic was still there, and I think that everyone should really go. I also thought that being a person that goes a lot, it was definitely almost like a bucket list thing to say, I've seen Disney during COVID.
Yes.
It's a totally different experience, and it's something that, hopefully it's not like this forever. And so we can say, we were there.
Yeah, it definitely won't be like this forever, and I'm sure, the next time going, even though it's still pandemic, I am going back, but it's gonna be not completely different, but it's still gonna be getting closer to normal than it was just when we were there 2 weeks ago.
I think every time that you go, there probably will be changes because they're going, I personally think, for them, they see less restrictions as more people coming.
Yes.
And so they're going to try their best to, pull all the restrictions back as they can while keeping people safe.
Yeah, I think they're going to maintain their safety, in terms of the distancing and the mask wearing, the sanitizing. But capacity is definitely going to be increasing.
Yeah.
Which makes, the lines are going to start to, not be all under 30 minutes.
Let's talk about safety measures. So there was masks wearing at all times, and there were 6-foot separation lines on the floors, which to me, I never want them to go away.
I know. I wish this could always be a thing.
I obviously, I don't love wearing a mask, and I understand everything about, it's hot, and it's, you're taking pictures and you can't see your face and things like that. But purposely telling the party behind me that they cannot touch me, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced in my life. That there wasn't a young child dropping their water on my leg, or a man breathing down my neck because he wanted to get on the ride 4 seconds after me. It was so nice to have that.
It also makes it feel like you're constantly moving forward in the line.
Yes.
I don't know, the waits. Even if you're waiting, it felt shorter.
Yeah, because it was movement.
Yes.
It wasn't I definitely felt that, especially for rides that I know that I've waited for. like Tower of Terror or
Yes.
Space Mountain, where I know that I will commit on a normal day 45 minutes
Yes.
for waiting. But the fact that every time a party gets on the ride, there's a huge jump.
Yes.
You feel like you're getting through the line a lot quicker.
Yeah.
One of the downfalls of having that line is that a lot of the lines are now going outside of the ride, which if it's a bad weather day, either sunny or not sunny, if it's raining, you don't want to be out there.
Right.
And then B, something that I noticed was it almost seemed like everywhere you went, you were just looking at a line. And I will say that is something that slightly took away from the magic, because you're just like, oh,
Right.
what is this? Oh, it's the line for Peter Pan.
I felt like I saw most of that in Hollywood Studios.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I had my least favorite time at Hollywood Studios. I felt that everything was a line, especially in Galaxy's Edge. And this might just be because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I just felt like it was my first time there. I walked in, I didn't know what anything was. Nothing has a sign on it because of the immersion.
Yeah.
But then everything was a line, but you didn't know what you were waiting in line for.
Yeah.
So were you waiting to get food when you weren't hungry? Are you waiting for a ride when you're starving? Were you trying... I remember at one point we went into a store and it was like for building like droids. And it was like, I wouldn't have waited to walk through this because I didn't want to build a droid. So definitely that was a problem, and that's because there are so many things that are closed.
Yes.
And that's like
And
a downfall.
there's really only, I think it's like 9 rides at studios.
Something like that.
So something like that. So everything is going to seem like a long wait, as opposed to like Magic Kingdom, where there's so many attractions that like the crowds are able to divide up more evenly.
Yeah, I wonder if we thought about it, if like there is more closed in Hollywood Studios as compared to other parks.
Oh, definitely, because
But
like there's so many like shows. Like we didn't have Indiana Jones, we didn't have Voyage of the Little Mermaid. That's what that one's called, right? Yeah. And then Frozen wasn't open, although I think it is opening.
it should be opening.
Like in a few days. What else?
But yeah, so it almost felt like when you're in Hollywood Studios, there's nowhere to go if you're not on a line. There's
Right.
nothing happening
Yeah.
if you're not on a line or if you're not shopping.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that was definitely the place that I did not want to be the whole trip.
I know.
Once I got there, I was done with it, and I was glad to be done with it.
I mean, I did every ride in the park, and I did Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway twice.
Oh,
Yeah, I
same
did.
day?
Yeah, walk on like a rope drop.
Yeah, which isn't a thing anymore.
I know.
And also, it's just like, I remember reading the boards being like, oh, don't worry, like the limited park hours are great because they're like holding to them, and so like you don't have to show up early. And then
In that park you do.
But by the time I walked into every park an hour before the parks opened. Every day. And it was like there were already people in there. Like I actually wish I knew when they were letting people in, because that's got to be interesting. I mean, a lot of it was just to get on a line, but just the fact that, you know, Magic Kingdom was opening at 8 a.m. and we walked in or it was opening at 9. We walked in at 8 a.m. and there were already at least 100 people in there, like in the shops, already had food, had already taken pictures.
That was like the time to be there, though.
Yeah.
Because once it was like real park opening, that's when the line started to jump up.
Yeah.
But like, I was able to get so much done, like in the first hour of being at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because they like quietly opened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, a lot of the wait times, I don't know if you noticed,
are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was way less than what it was.
Yeah. I think that they inflated wait times, and I also think that, and I mean, this is something that I do for every time that I go, you just have to be flexible.
Yes.
Like, if you're someone who's like, no, I have to ride this in this order, you're not gonna have a good time. And you also have to, you know, go into your trip, especially if you're someone who goes more often. You know, there are rides that we say, well, we don't have to do it this time.
Right.
So, you know, we didn't do Rock and Roller Coaster when we were there. I always have to go on Tower of Terror. I think it was a 45-minute wait. We probably waited 25. It just felt like forever because we were waiting at like 1 p.m. and it was very, very hot. But you have to be able to be flexible and you have to be able to walk. Because that's another thing. If you are in Frontierland and Space Mountain has a 5-minute wait, you better truck it across the park.
Yes.
It might be 15 minutes by the time you get there, but it's worth it instead of waiting 35 for Big Thunder Mountain just because you're there. Mm-hmm. Like, just go to the rides that have lower wait times. Just do it that way and you'll ride everything you want to. So there are so many lines because only certain rides are open. A lot of the shows are gone. Did you feel that they made up for that with the cavalcades?
Oh, I'm like a way bigger fan of the cavalcades than I am for like a regular parade.
Me too.
This is something that I wish would stick around.
Yes. I don't know. See, and I feel that there are people who will say, no, I love the parade. And it's like, why? Is that nostalgia that like you enjoy whatever that parade is? Because isn't a cavalcade just the same thing? It's just
shorter.
It's shorter and you can't plan it out. Because I much enjoy not having to camp.
Yes.
To see and okay, am I going to get there and I'm going to save myself a spot and I'm going to be in the tape and then there's going to be a family who stands in front of me 4 seconds before the princesses come by. I definitely think the cavalcade should stick around. I don't think that they should do parades anymore. Like, just get out of the habit of people crowding.
Yes.
And like, you can't get through if you don't like the parade.
I guess I like the special parades like for Halloween. Like, I enjoy that parade and the Christmas parade, but like on a regular day, like
daily parades,
I don't need it.
I don't understand why they do it.
I like the cavalcade.
I think the cavalcades are cute, and I think that the thing that I liked that they did was I don't know if you noticed this. I only saw it in Magic Kingdom. You can hear the music.
Yes.
And they only put the music on in the section that the cavalcade is going to be in. So what happened was we were by Memento Mori, but over the river I heard Boo-to-You. And I was like, oh my god, it's the Boo-to-You cavalcade. I haven't seen it yet. So we ran around and we stood in front of like the Diamond Horseshoe restaurant that I've never gone into. And we waited, and by the time we got there, I was like, wait, I thought that the cavalcade started by Splash Mountain. Why don't I hear the music anymore? And it was because they shut the music and turned it on, so we waited a few more minutes, and then all of a sudden, Boo-to-You came on, and it's just, I just heard it because the music traveled across the river. But
I love that the music hits, and it's like, oh, it's coming, quickly, just
10
find
minutes.
a spot on the sidewalk,
Not even.
stand there, it passes you by. Yeah, less than 10 minutes. You're like, maybe like 5 minutes.
And like the dancing is great. The interaction with the characters is great. Like they notice you. It's not like all of a sudden this has become like we're just gonna sit and like be seen. They're
very interactive,
very animated. They see you, and there's not as many people around, so you also feel like it's a little bit more personal.
Yes.
Like when Mickey points at you, you're like, oh, Mickey's pointing at me. I was so happy in my videos, like when they were interacting with me because I knew no one else was around me. So I definitely think like cavalcades over parades any day.
And they were even like when I would not, most of the time on a regular day I would not line up for the parades like Festival of Fantasy or anything. But I knew it was time for it, and it was like a big production even for me to avoid it because like, oh my god, I want to get to this ride and I can't cross.
Yeah.
So like
the tape is down.
The cavalcade is so much better. It's like it happens, it's done, and
I definitely think that was a great improvement. Another great improvement that I really, really love, and I used it before all of this, but now they're basically forcing mobile ordering so that you don't go in the restaurant, and I think that it is amazing and great and wonderful.
Yeah, prior to this, I had maybe mobile ordered like once. I don't know. I didn't really make use of it. Like maybe at Pecos Bill I did it one time.
Yeah.
But this was like super simple, super quick and easy. Like you could plan like while you're even like on a ride. Like oh, let me put this order in, and when I get off, I'm just gonna walk over there and
tell them that I'm here.
Yeah.
I've used it before, just because I wanted my food when I wanted my food, and there was an instance where I ordered mobile order while my friends got online, and I got my food and finished my food before they even got their food. I don't understand why people don't use it. I think that it really is more of an attention thing. That for us, if you're not in the place looking at the menu on the wall, then you're just not ordering food. And I just think this is something that people have to start getting used to, because now when you walk up, they ask you, did you mobile order? And if you didn't, they most likely suggest to you, then why don't you step to the side? And why don't you mobile order?
There is a single register that's for the people who didn't mobile order.
For the difficult ones. Yeah. For the people who are like, no, I need to stand in here and look at the menu.
But I was gonna say, I think going into it, since I knew it was gonna be a lot of mobile ordering at all the quick service places, I was concerned that it was gonna be a big wait for it, because everyone is mobile ordering. But I only had good experiences the whole time.
I don't think I waited.
It was simple, and painless.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And one of my favorite things was that if it is a holiday, they point out for you, it says holiday exclusive food or snack. And you can click on that and you can look for your holiday exclusive food wherever you want. And I thought that was great.
Handy.
Yeah, I loved that.
So what did you think about the new park hours?
Okay, so this was probably the thing that was the hardest for me to process planning wise. I do remember when we booked our tickets, it was almost like something that was a little devastating to me. I am rope drop to park close. So for me to hear you're not going to be in the park for 16 hours a day, it really emotionally hurt me. But then when we were planning our trip, it almost felt so Disney is the trip that makes me say I need a vacation from my vacation, because Disney is a marathon, and even though it's a marathon, you're sprinting at all moments, and you have to fit everything in, and you have to be there the whole time, and oh my god, the people that can nap in the middle of the day when they go to a park, I did that once, and it was well needed, but I hated myself for it. And so to know that okay, so we could sleep until 7 a.m. What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And then you're gonna go to the park and you're gonna spend the whole day. There was only one park we even stayed at the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Because of how different everything is. And so then to plan and say, okay, you need to be out of the park by 7 p.m. You get a whole nother vacation out of this, because now it's, well, I'm not going to choose an in-park dinner. Why don't I just wait another hour and I can go to Disney Springs, or I can go to a hotel. I can go to the boardwalk. It was at first I thought it was a detriment to our trip, and it ended up being one of the best things to happen to our trip, because we were able to do new things and I didn't get sick after my trip from the exhaustion.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, right, in this era. But no, usually I get I feel I get a cold because I haven't been sleeping.
Yeah,
and
you're run down.
You're just so tired. I was really able to bounce back, and looking back at the trip, it actually we fit more into the trip this time than we ever have, because we weren't restricted to being in the parks until 9 p.m. And I thought it was amazing.
I think you have time to really appreciate your resort too.
Yeah.
And it's you are spending a lot of money or on these places,
or
and
DVC points.
Yeah, or points. But this gives you time to actually experience the resort instead of just sleeping in the room.
Exactly.
I think so. The first park I went to was Epcot, and it hit 5 o'clock, and normally I'm I still have at least 4 hours,
right?
But it really hit me then, oh my god, I only have 2 hours left of the park. I have to
eat more.
Plan exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, like, it really felt weird the first day, but I didn't mind it. I loved, like, getting to go back to my hotel early and just, like, calmly getting ready for bed. It wasn't, like, 11 p.m. and I'm like, oh my god, I have to be up at 6 a.m. Like,
I have to shower and blow dry my hair, and I haven't eaten at all, and
but yeah, really, that was, like, the first day was the only day I, like, really felt the difference, but then, like, I liked having a shorter park day the other days.
For us, so the way that we structured our trip, we did Magic Kingdom our first park day and our last day.
Mm-hmm.
So a part of that was like, we were in the park and we were like, well, we're just going to come back. So it's fine.
Right.
So we left a little early because we wanted to get ready to go out to dinner. And it was like, oh, this will be nice. It's good that we can leave the park. We have time to, like, the fact that I had time to shower and do my hair before dinner, where usually it's like, I will never forget the first time that we went to Be Our Guest. It was our first trip back in years. Be Our Guest was, like, brand new. And the only reservation we could get was during a Halloween party. And so we showed up to Be Our Guest in Tweedledee and Tweedledum outfits while we were still in the park.
There.
But for me, I was like, this is a fine dining experience, and I'm in a Halloween costume with sneakers. But so the fact that, like, we were able to go home, have an outfit change, like, feel refreshed, like, it was a different part. Epcot is the only park that we stayed at all day. We went in an hour early, and then we ended up staying. I do wish that they would edit the park hours based on, like, what's going on in the park during the day or during the night. I feel like Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios can be earlier park days. Like, nothing is, like, cool about them at night. But I feel like going around the world at night is a very different experience because just, like, the illumination that they do and, like, because you are going to different places, and Animal Kingdom having Pandora with all the bioluminescent, like, you lose that if you're there at a certain time of year. It's not even dark enough to see it.
I think they are extending hours
now.
Now. And I don't know if it's starting with just, like, some weekends.
Yeah.
But I think Animal Kingdom is always closing pretty early, like 5 or 6 o'clock the latest. But Epcot is going to be, like, till 8 or 9 p.m.
Right. I think that Epcot is so beautiful at night. And when we were leaving, it was perfectly bright out. Like, we went to the boardwalk and had another drink after park closed, and it was still light out. It was shocking.
I've also heard, like, this is going to be, like, the new trick. Try to get a dining reservation that is
late.
Yeah, a late one. Like,
no one's doing breakfast anymore.
Have ones, like, after park closed.
Right, yeah.
Like, and that's, like, the time to be there because then, like, when you're leaving, you get to see the park at night and, like, barely anyone there. You can take pictures.
It literally is the opposite of what you used to do because you used to try to get, like, an 8 a.m. breakfast to be in an hour early, shovel all your breakfast in, and then be in the park before the park opened. Yeah. It's so crazy.
But now that's the hard time to get is the late reservation.
Yeah. But with the park hours being shortened, they also took away fast passes. I don't know if that's a direct correlation or if it's just like
I think that had to do with being able to use all, like, available queue space for
the lines,
the social distancing lines.
Right. Which I will say, I really enjoyed. The one that I think was the biggest for me was Peter Pan. So I only go on Peter Pan with a fast pass.
Yes.
Because I am not waiting 90 minutes for the same ride with a different movie background. Like, I love Peter Pan, but it is Winnie the Pooh. Right? Like, it's Winnie the Pooh with a different ride holder. Ride. Yeah. Like, so I only do the fast pass, which is usually, like, you walk on the ride. Like, their fast pass line isn't big. So it was really nice to experience the regular standby line.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And I also learned, because there was a cast member walking behind us in line, that where they made that line, it used to be the men's bathroom. And they had to shut down a bathroom because the lines were getting so big for Peter Pan.
So I wonder, Was that Tangled bathroom always there?
I don't think so. But
I don't know.
I don't remember. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that line. But I also feel like other lines suffered. So that line was made greater. But other lines, I felt like you lost the story because they have a pre-show for a ride. You don't get the pre-show anymore.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's maybe somewhere where I can like ding them, because you could find a creative way to like still do the things you're doing. Mm-hmm. And they kind of were just like, oh, well, COVID cut. Like, it's gone.
I know, like, I miss the pre-shows in the Haunted Mansion, like the stretching room, and
it's my favorite.
I know, I love it.
I like, and it's sad that like they could find a way. Like, okay, maybe you can't stand there and watch the room stretch, or we don't know the magic behind how it happens. But is there a way that like as you're walking through, like the room is moving while you're walking? Or could they just have the overlay of the storyline? Like, most people are not coming here for the first time, especially during this time. Like, I would love to hear the ghost host talking while I'm walking through.
Right.
Same thing for Tower of Terror.
I mean, I think they probably are just afraid if it's on, it's going to cause some people to stop. Right. And then they don't want a crowd.
Yeah.
But
people, stop ruining it for everyone. But yeah, like I missed in Tower of Terror, you walk through the TV room.
Yes.
I just wish that TV was playing. Just play it over and over. No one's gonna see the loop.
Do you know which one I was happy to not have to go through?
No, which one?
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh!
Scene with better make
that stretch. Fast passes!
Oh, the backstage passes.
Oh, the backstage passes.
That's the whole theme of that ride. I'm sorry if people love it, but it's just so outdated and like...
Yeah.
But I was very happy to not have to go through that.
That could be, like, I don't understand why that isn't a Cars ride. I don't understand why they made another Cars ride. They should have just made that a Cars-themed ride, but we digress. Yeah. That's not what this video is about. But yeah, I thought that Peter Pan was the only one that benefited
that was
from
nice.
that.
I mean, I will say, I think Fast Pass in some form is going to have to come back pretty soon. Like, maybe even announced before the end of the year, because they are increasing the capacity.
Definitely by the end of the year.
They're going to have to...
Definitely by the end of the year.
You know, do something about the lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that especially because at this time, Florida has gone into whatever number phase.
I think it's 3.
Because anyone knows what that means.
I know.
But I think that they're going to start raising their capacity, because originally they were running off of whatever the phases said. That's why they stayed closed for so long. And now that they're doing more in Florida in general, I hope that they keep a lot of the safety precautions, but I think they're going to start raising park capacity, especially with all the layoffs that they've had to do. Like, it's very obvious that they need to bring in more money. So I think by bringing in more people, that's what they're going to do.
I keep reading things about, like, oh, this restaurant opening.
Yeah.
So I think they are noticing that, like, there's more people in the parks now. Yeah. We need more dining options, which is good for cast members, getting people to work.
Well, and also, like, you have to remember that you can't only you can't only base it on who's staying on property. Like, they have tons of pass holders. I mean, I follow people on Instagram that live in, Georgia, that live in Tennessee, that are annual pass holders because they go 4 to 5 times a year and might not even stay on property, or the Florida residents.
All the locals.
Yeah, like, they're gonna have to start opening up. But even while I was there, when I was in Magic Kingdom on my last day, we couldn't go on Jungle Cruise because it was up to 65 minutes. And
I would never wait 65 minutes for Jungle Cruise.
Absolutely not. And
I didn't do it either. I didn't go on Jungle Cruise because it was too long.
It was just, we were choosing rides that were under 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. But there were points.
Which there were a lot.
Oh, yeah. Funny. But there were points where there were rides that were up to 90 minutes. And it was just like, okay, well, this wasn't this wasn't what we were promised with lower capacity. Like, you know.
Well, yeah, I think people also cannot go in expecting every ride to be a 10-minute wait and then be like pissed off that it's
absolutely,
you know, a long wait. Like,
but
I mean, look at what it used to be before this, and we were fine with it.
Right. Right.
But
because when you're told like, oh, the reason, like, I guess the argument, if I were to make an argument about this, is like, the only thing that really shocked me was, so you lowered my park hours, you took away fast passes, I can't meet and greet with characters, you know, there's this, there's that, and then they didn't lower the ticket cost.
No, they didn't.
And so, but people were like, right, but if there's less people, you'll do more.
You're able to do more.
I still think that we did more.
Yes.
But I think it's now getting to the point, I actually think it was the day after I left, I started seeing a lot of Instagrammers being like, whoa, these lines are not short anymore.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is here. Everyone has, like, kind of shaken off the jitters about going. Like, you haven't really heard any horror stories about people traveling to Disney and getting sick. There hasn't been an outbreak and, you know, things like that. So now more people are feeling comfortable, and they might still be at that, whatever, 25% capacity, but it might have been at 10% when the lines were low, and now they're really hitting capacity. So when they're at capacity, there really are long lines again. Mm-hmm. So I definitely think that Fast Pass is going to have to come back, because the parks are just turning into lines now. Yeah. And that is not magical, to see a line everywhere you go. What modes of transportation did you take while you were there?
Actually, I did not ride the monorail.
I didn't either.
Even though I wanted to. I was like so excited to get back on a monorail, but I didn't. I only used the buses.
Okay.
And they are now, you rode the buses?
Yes.
Okay. So they are limited capacity on the buses, and sections of seats are labeled with numbers. Mm-hmm. And so the cast member will ask you, like, how many are in your party. They, like, take a peek in the bus and, like, tell you which number to go to, and, like, you have to go to that section of seats. There's some dividers up. I thought the buses felt, like, safe.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was great. I thought that, I was nervous, because I was like, oh, this is gonna really stink if, like, you're at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day and you just want to go. Mm-hmm. And then because of capacity, you don't get on the bus.
Right.
Because before it was like, shove everyone in as much as you can. And now, like, there's these spaces. More than one time, I got my own bus.
Yeah.
And
one time I did.
And there were plenty of times where not every section was taken. And I thought it was great. It was just great to not have, like, the family where, like, they have 4 kids and 2 kids want to sit in the back and 2 kids want to sit in the front, and, like, now they're running around and then the parents are arguing about where they should sit, or, like, you know, just anything like that, or, like, walking around. It was, like, nice to just be told where to go. Like, go there and that's your spot, and that's it. And you're not going to have to, like, deal with anybody else, like, standing in front of you and leaning on you, and, like, this one's spilling their coffee because, like, they're not paying attention because they're holding on. There's no standing room at all, which I loved, and I just thought that it was, like, perfect for me.
Did you ride a bus to get to the park for park opening?
Yes.
At any time? Yes?
Yes.
How was the line at your resort?
I didn't think the line, it wasn't very big at all. We took the bus to a park opening every day except for our last day, because our last day our first day we ate at Chef Mickey's, so we took a lift to the Contemporary, and then we walked over. That was the day we were going to take the monorail.
Yeah.
And by the time we got on the monorail, I don't know exactly what's going on. They're not running the monorail in both directions. And so when we were getting on...
It wasn't going to Epcot.
Yeah. No. Whatever happened, we said, is this going directly to Magic Kingdom? And she was like, no, it's going to stop at the resorts.
Oh.
And so we said, well, wait, if we walk there, will it be quicker to get to Magic Kingdom? And she was like, yeah, it'll probably shave 15 minutes off your ride because we have to go to the Poly, to the Grand, and then to Magic Kingdom. They weren't running it like the other way around. It was only going like from Contemporary to Magic Kingdom and back that way.
Well, yeah, prior to COVID, I would usually go to the Contemporary and then walk to Magic Kingdom because I hated dealing with the crowds at the transportation center and wait for the monorail. But so I rode the bus to Epcot. It wasn't for opening because it was the first day I got there. So it was like, I stayed at the Contemporary. I just waited for the bus. It was like only maybe 3 families on it. When I went for Magic Kingdom, I just walked from the hotel. But for my Studios day, you have to be very strategic with Studios. So the bus was not gonna go until like 45 minutes prior to opening, and I was like, no, I need to be there much earlier than that. So I took an Uber. But thank God my Uber driver knew what was going on. He was like, they're not gonna let me drop you off at Studios right now. Like, so he dropped me at the boardwalk. And I walked from the boardwalk to Studios and was like the 3rd party in line. Which was like very good.
So yes, that's a really big tip. That before, Ubering was way easier, and now like you have to be strategic about it and think about where you're going to be picked up and where you're going to be dropped off. That was definitely something.
I've heard with the Skyliner too, like if you're planning on taking the Skyliner to the park at opening, like that line for it gets extremely long.
We rode it, but we rode it in the middle of the day just to experience it.
I rode it when I was leaving Studios, like just to ride it. I like rode it to Caribbean Beach.
That's what we did.
And then came back. And then got my own bus from Studios back to the Contemporary.
We rode it to Caribbean and we rode onward to Epcot. And then I wanted to go to a gift shop, so we like walked through the beach club and then we took an Uber from the beach club back to our resort because it was easier than like figuring out how to find a bus that would like bring us somewhere. So.
But I guess the Skyliner line probably, it appears like it moves well because they're constantly moving.
Because they're just pushing you on.
They are only doing 1 party per car. So like, if you're by yourself, like you're getting your own gondola. I don't know why they're called that.
I don't know.
That's the word.
Sky gondola. But that's something that we can mention about the rides too, is like this time is so great because any ride that you go on, you're either by yourself or at least like very separated from the party next to you. Like when we were riding Space Mountain, we were getting our own, like out of the 6 seats, we were only taking up 2 of them. And that was it. So all the pictures are just your party. And then like rides like Splash Mountain, they were leaving space in between, so they were putting someone like in the 1st and 4th row. So, your picture, you're not focused on everyone else in your picture. It really is just you, which is really nice too. Which I really, really enjoyed.
And like Smuggler's Run, like you're driving the Millennium Falcon on your own.
I thought that was great. And then, they did the same thing for the Magical Express. They run that the same way as the regular transportation buses. So, you walk up to the kiosk and the person comes over and asks you where you're going, and then they ask how many people are in your party, and then they tell you, okay, you're going to sit in the 4th row behind the driver. And then they separated every party by a row. So you were not sitting across from someone or in front of or directly behind someone either, which was really, really nice. The only downfall to that is, it ended up not being a downfall, but we walked into our row for the Magical Express and we were the only people in our row. And that means that no one else is going to your resort. And so we were just like, oh my gosh, we're going to end up waiting like 45 minutes because we're going to have to wait for someone. But luckily there were people in other rows going like on the route because you stop at different places. So luckily we were expecting a 45-minute wait. I think we waited 10 minutes and then they just put us on and they were like, okay, they didn't board like the airplanes, where the airplanes are boarding from the back, you kind of just got on and went to where they told you.
All right.
But it's better than what it used to be, where it was just like get on and figure it out, and like hopefully you get the seat you want and things like that.
Yes.
So I thought that was great.
So yeah, those are some things we noticed with our visit back to the parks post-COVID. We still feel like the magic is there.
It definitely is.
I'm looking forward to getting back there.
I wish I could.
Yeah. I'm excited to experience Animal Kingdom. I know we both didn't go this trip, so we have nothing to report on Animal Kingdom.
Heard it's great.
Yes, yes, heard it's great. But yeah, Disney is magical. It's fabulous right now, even with the mask.
Yeah, don't postpone going. I would say, in my opinion, I would not go for your first time.
Right.
Or if this is gonna be like your one trip for the next 10 years, maybe hold off. But if you're like us and you guys go a lot, it's definitely waiting for you, and you can have an amazing time with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely encourage anybody to book a trip, and we hope that you guys tell us about it, because we'd love to hear your experiences. If, did you disagree with anything that we experienced, or is there something else that we didn't cover that you think is very different post-COVID, or is there anything that you think is great post-COVID? So we'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments, and make sure that you like and subscribe to us here, and follow us on Instagram, and join our Facebook group. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.